Good morning, good morning, good morning. I was glad to be back. Can't wait to kind of get into the charts. Just want to make sure I can hear myself so you guys can hear. Yep, perfect. Okay, today we're kind of getting into again how we always start on my breakdowns on this YouTube channel. Just kind of looking for key signatures. So we start for the higher time frame down. So this is the daily gap that we see here of volume imbalance. And so yesterday we were looking for higher prices to come up ultimately and hit the new week opening gap. And I wasn't expecting it to close, but definitely kind of trade up there. It did close it with the wick, and then the body of the new open kind of pretty much went up there. So again, the daily volume imbalance here that we had noted, price was now supported from there. We also have this 1 hour inverse fair value gap that's now being held with this high, and so we would expect to see this hold and end up trading higher if we're bullish. And so that's technically what I'm looking for, to see if we can get that. My eyes are kind of going up a little bit higher, but something for me that is kind of concerning is we do have Trump speaking later today at 5:10. So I'm kind of wondering if the market will be kind of choppy until then. So I'm just kind of keeping an eye out for that. He speaks obviously after the market has been closed, so I'm not exactly kind of sure what market environment we would get. I'm thinking potentially that we will get a choppier or high resistant market, but we'll kind of see what we get. So here's the SMT that we have currently. We had the one from Monday, which kind of helped give a direction going higher, but I wasn't seeing the signatures, and that's fine. And so this is kind of where we are now. It doesn't look as clean as I would like it to be, but right now we have SMT to the upside. We'll see if that's able to hold. I'm thinking that we're gonna again be targeting a little bit higher, but we'll see when where we're at market open. Just kind of looking at today, let's see where we're at in terms of the opening range. Let's put it on to electronic trading hours. So this is where we closed yesterday. So let's see. I don't think that we have much of a deviating price. So because if it's going to be a small range, again, I'm going to have to wait until 10 o'clock to take a trade. That's kind of what it may look like. I just have to figure out where we close, which would have been 4:15, or sorry, 4:14, I'm sorry, which is on the 1 minute chart. Just want to make sure I know where that is. Here, let me just do it on another chart because this can be kind of confusing. I'll do it on another chart just so we can kind of see. I'll do it on this chart. So this is kind of like the chart where I have my levels. Again, I'm looking at the 1 hour inverse fair value gap and see if we can hold that and end up trading a little bit higher. That would be my goal. That's what I would be looking for. We're also would be trying to shoot for the new day opening gap. But let me not get distracted from what I was trying to do before. Let's go to 4:15 or 4:14. See where that is, because that lets us know the closing price. So it's right here. So we're pretty much like, again, look, we're right at that price. So if we are like anything less than, pretty much around 30, 10, 30, I'll say 40 to 40 or less, I'm most likely going to wait until 10 o'clock. So we haven't really had much of a change from the last day in terms of trading for the regular trading hours. So that also lets me know that I just need to be a little more patient. And also that kind of goes along with how we have Trump speaking later today after hours. So I got to be a little bit more cautious today than I would on a normal day where we have a large opening gap and Trump is not also speaking. So just have to be understanding of that. Don't really want to get caught up in the chop. Not interested in that today. So if that's what we end up getting, then there's nothing really going to be there for me. Yeah, just gotta wait. Just gotta wait. But yeah, we'll see what we get here today. I mean, just with everything that's kind of out, and him speaking a little bit later, that does kind of put a little bit of a dampening on the market. So we'll see what we get. So this is yesterday's regular trading hours closing price. So it kind of lets us get an idea of what this is, just so we know what that is on our charts. I think I'll make it black, and then I'm just going to keep it on this chart just so we know what that is. Doesn't need to be on every single chart. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're waiting for. We do have, again, I checked because I don't want to have what happened last time with Trump just speaking and I had no idea and I was taking a trade, so obviously don't want that to happen again. But yeah, I checked this morning. We have JOLTS job openings at 10 a.m., which kind of would be in alignment with the price action we're getting right now. Again, waiting till after 10, so that aligns there as well. It's just that we have President Trump speaking at 5:10, so I'm a little bit cautious there on trades. We may get like a high resistant day or something choppy. That's my anticipation of the day. But it doesn't mean that that's going to happen. We could have a very, very clean day, and then him speaking later on could upset what's happened today. So there's a lot of things that could happen. I'm just kind of I just understand the market environment, so I'm not trying to push too hard. Again, since I took a loss yesterday, I have to cut it down in half. I think I was using 4 yesterday, so the next trade has to be 2. I want to trade with 4 again because it's not that high of leverage, but in terms of my trade plan or trading plan, sticking with the rules and cutting it in half, that's what I'm going to do. So now I'll be trading with 2. And if it gets like where I'm just like, I really don't like this market, but I do think that there is a trade setup, I may even go down to 1. So it just really depends on the market environment and what I'm seeing at the time of a potential trade setup occurring. I do like this buy side up here. I'll kind of note where I think the buy side is. We have that buy side there, and then this would be the sell side currently would be there. So those are areas. This is a range I believe that we're playing in and bouncing around. So again, on the 15-minute chart, if we are in fact bullish, this 1 hour inverse fair value gap should hold. This order block here should also hold if it gets hit. I don't even really want to see a trade down there. We also have a 50-minute breaker there as well that overlaps with this order block on the 15-minute chart. And then we have this fair value gap down here as well. So I mean, it's also a breaker there, high, low, higher, high. So if we are in fact bullish, that's what we should see. But again, we have SMT on the higher time frame, and this looks too much like a trend line. Let's go on this chart. So So I can keep this one clean, but just show you the 15-minute chart. This looks like the trend line that people draw. So if we do end up giving this up, you know, right down there would be I think it would draw down to there. Obviously we have these, and these are really clean too, but this is pretty much how people draw trend lines. It bounces, it bounces, it bounces, it bounces. So they may be thinking for another buy scenario, either coming back down here and going up higher. So that's also something that I am aware of. But again, pretty much no difference from yesterday's trading price. So as of right now, like again, how I always do it, I put it at 10 o'clock. I put a line at 10 o'clock, just indicating and letting me know that there's nothing I can do until this point. That's why I put it on there. And so again, if we have about 10 minutes until the market opens. If we are truly bullish, again, this order block should hold price. It should not be allowed to close down in the middle end of it, or even below it. The wicks may come down here and do some damage. That's what they're designed to do. So it may come down here and wick all down here and end up closing up higher. That's fine. I'd rather not see that, but that is okay. How's everyone's day been so far? How's your morning? Again, for me, when looking at areas that I want to see price react from or move away from, I don't just buy here because there is an order block and there's a fair value gap and it overlaps with this. My setup that I specifically look for is the breaker setup, and I'm doing a lot of my entries on the 1 minute time frame. And so what I want to see is, like, if it hits this level, I want to see like immediate reaction. Now, right now, because of the time element, or right before the market open at 9:30, I'm not expecting that this would hold. So again, you have to be able to manage your expectations, to manage what exactly you're looking for. But I'm not just gonna buy that just because it's trading down into it, and then I see, like, I believe that, you know, buy side is there as well. So we have buy side there, but also let's note this buy side, because I think that that's important as well. But yeah, with Trump speaking a little bit later, I am have to be very, very patient. Also, this order block right here on the 15-minute chart is right at, or inside of, the new day opening gap from December 20th. So again, if we're bullish, I would expect this candle to hold. That would just be my expectation, if we're truly bullish and we're going to be looking for this. Now, if we're not, we could potentially come below through this and close below through this, and then now we have, you know, that sell side and, you know, this one as well. I would like to see higher prices because on the daily time frame, I want to see us come up and hit these equal highs. It may not do that, but that's just my expectation. We had a response with the bodies right off this daily volume imbalance that you can see right there. Make it clear. This imbalance here is this blue line here. So the bodies, look at the wicks doing the damage. Again, we have a fair value gap here, but look at the bodies are respecting it. So that would be my assumption, that looking at this chart and looking how we're reacting and what we're responding off of, and also even yesterday how we hit the middle of this wick and then had a nice reaction up going higher, my expectation is that we would be looking for bullishness. Now, it doesn't mean that it can go down lower and then come up higher. It can do whatever it wants, but that's just my expectation. So about 5 minutes until the market opens. Again, I would like this as well. This is a fair value gap here. You also have that in volume imbalance. So if we can close up above that, that's again an inverse fair value gap, which again would show more bullishness than bearishness, but we have to understand the market environment. And I see this looks jagged down there in my opinion, and this all looks very clean, whereas this looks like shark teeth. So that's what I'm looking for personally. Something I did notice and realize yesterday, even though I took the trade against my initial bias, something that I thought was very interesting was the only true SMT that held was the one down here. The one for the shorts didn't necessarily hold true. So when I was looking at and going over my trade and figuring out what could I do better, this was like only the trade where I took a trade that was against like a higher time frame SMT. So that was something I did notice, and again something that I'm gonna work on, and it's a learning experience for me. Here as well, if we're bullish, I understand the time, but this 1 minute order block should hold price here. This at 922. We should be expecting price to hold that and go higher because of where it is. And with this reaction there, I would expect that this candle right here to hold it, but I'm not going to clutter my chart with stuff, just things that I'm watching. This right here again is the first presented fair value gap. I tell you how I like to use it. It just lets me know what type of market environment I should expect. But again, pretty much no difference from the opening closing price. I'm just gonna wait. Yep. That's all we got. So again, being able to find the locations where price could move from is very, very important when you're trading. Not just any order block, not just any random location. There has to be a reason or a framework of why you think it should move from there. And this is, I kind of explained to you why I thought that this area would be important to look for a move potentially going higher. But again, it's not the right time. Right, we have market opening in about 2 minutes. It could easily just run right below this and then either go up higher, or it could just completely just fold. It depends. But again, I'm looking for this to get hit, this upside, but that doesn't have to happen. So again, if we go here, pretty much I'm like, this looks very weird to me right now. Yeah, pretty much the opening and closing price, like we're not going to even need this middle because it's going to be too small. It's not necessary for what I'm doing because we're like right there anyways. So it's going to be definitely less than like 10 handles, so, or 20 handles or so. So it's not something that I'm very, very interested in. I'm automatically going to wait till 10. Looks like we may potentially have a discount gap, but it's like so tiny that it doesn't necessarily matter. I just want to put this on there because I do have a chart that that has that, so I can see it. But yeah, really nothing of excitement right now for me. This would be the high, and then there's about 8 seconds left, so I'm just gonna leave it on this chart, and then I'll go back to one where we're watching what we're gonna do. Okay, look at that. Pretty much, how many handles is that? 11 handles. Yeah, it's too small. Not a real yeah, nothing there for me to really do. Again, here's a time element. Remember, I said we could potentially come down below here and run out this because of the time. It's not ready. So yeah, nothing really in terms of concerning with at least decoupling. All of them look to be kind of moving in the same direction. So that's a good sign, at least that we're prices all moving together. So that's something that we would want to see in our trades. Decoupling also lets us know that we need to just wait until they're kind of in alignment, and more of the ones that I'm looking for that need to be in alignment are S&P and Nasdaq. If Dow usually does its own thing, so I understand that. So I'm not, hardcore pressed that it's doing everything the same, but when it's in alignment, it makes it even better, makes the trades better. Again, I don't want to be in any of this. Look how it's just up and down and up and down and up and down. It's kind of clearing things out. Not a market that I want to be in. I used to want to pretty much be in every single trade every time it moved. I would try to, I'd be the one I try to be the one that catches it down here and does all that stuff. That never worked for me. I always got stopped out. I didn't really know what I was doing, didn't know what I was waiting for. I just wanted to be in the move because it moved away. That was just what it was for me. And, that doesn't have longevity, or at least it didn't happen for me. So again, now we got into the right time to trade down into this, and then look at the reaction that we're getting. So I'd want to see us now start to tech this buy side liquidity up here. Again, I'm leaning more towards the bullish side. I do see this this fair value gap on the 15-minute chart, but again, I think overall we're bullish, so that's what I would be waiting for. But because we had a very, very small gap opening, I can't do anything until 10 o'clock. We also have news at 10 o'clock, so yeah, we just gotta kind of wait. So we have about 30 seconds left. This may end up being the first presented fair value gap right there, which again, where is it forming? The upper portion of this 1 hour inverse fair value gap. I do like that. If this can hold, it may not be able to hold, but that's just letting me know that that is where it's at. But again, we have kind of restrictions on when we can take this trade because of how small the gap was. So yeah, it looks like we'll get it at 9. So the first presented fair value gap looks like it forms at 9:32. So that's a good good sign. So here it is, 9:32. And again, if this was a normal day, we didn't have all the news events and the small opening gap, I would look at this gap and I would try to aim for 50 handles, which is pretty much right below this buy side right there. So that would be my trade setup. But again, we have what am I trying to say? There's rules that we have to follow, and I can't take a trade before 10 o'clock. So have to follow that. And it's okay if we don't end up getting a trade set up today. That's fine. What keeps me from making a trade? Oh, from taking a trade when I see my setup? So I have rules and regulations, or I don't know why I said regulations. I just have rules. And so when the trade, when there's certain, my trade has to meet a certain criteria. So when the regular trading hours close and the new day when it opens, when they're very, very close together, I'm expecting some type of choppy market. So it's letting me know that I just need to wait and be a little bit more patient. It doesn't mean that the trade setup could win. It doesn't mean it's going to automatically lose. That's just the signature that I've seen over and over, because I've seen it where this forms and then it runs down below, does whatever, or holds, and then after 10 o'clock, it'll move. And it was also something that my mentor ICT had kind of told me and kind of had mentioned, and I also had seen that. So I'm just kind of trying to be weary of that and understanding that, even though I could see the trade happening from down here, I would expect this to hold if I'm bullish and on the right side. This right here is not my setup. I trade the breaker setup. So the specific things that I look for, technically, yes, right here, high, low, higher, high, breaker, fair value gap, that is my setup. But I normally take it on the 1 minute chart. So I'm not as likely going to be taking this one unless I was like for sure, and it has to be during the time element. I don't take it right at 9:30. So that's why this one isn't my trade setup, even though it is a breaker fair value gap setup. So if it doesn't fit the criteria for a trade setup for me, I don't take it. It has to be fitting in that criteria, and if it doesn't fit that criteria, I just can't take the trade. That's how I look at it. So this could trade down here and then end up trading 1,000 points up higher, and that's just a trade I would not be in. It'd just be a missed opportunity, and I would just wait for something else or something that I want to see. Also, I would have preferred it to come down here first. I don't think that's what we're going to get yet. We could come up with here and then 10 come down here. Just kind of have to weigh the options. Again, I do believe we're going to go a little bit higher. Also have to be weary and understand that we do have this gap sitting right above us as well. Let's note that. So again, that's where, again, I was looking for higher prices. And when I was a newer trader, I would be mad that even if I had to wait, if I even knew that I had to wait. But if, like, let's say this right here, right? I'm expecting it to come down and trade to this first presented fair value gap because it's a breaker setup right there. It's very clean, and it doesn't give it to me. I used to get very, very mad, and those usually were the days that I'd end up on tilt. Those are the days where I'd blow my account because I'd be so mad just trying to get into the market, and anything that looked like anything that I've been taught, I would just do it. And that doesn't always work. So you have to have a framework and a setup, and you have to know also when not to take trades. That's just as important as taking a trade. You have to know when to kind of just sit still. I hope I answered your question. If not, just let me know what I missed. It's good. Boom, we got the buy side liquidity taken. So we'll download that. I just like to screenshot things that I was looking for and that they happened. Yep, no problem. Yeah, so we had that. Let me just do that again because it kind of looks weird. But yeah, so we were able to call that from this level up higher, and again, I think it's gonna trade a lot higher. But and take out this buy side liquidity up above. We've now traded up into this gap as well on the 15-minute chart. Let's just kind of zoom this in a little bit so we can see that as well. So we were able to hit that. That would have been the next target of what I was looking for. But again, this would have just been something where it just didn't offer it to us. I mean, maybe on a 2-minute chart. No, again, didn't offer it. So yeah, it's just a missed opportunity. But we know we have news at 10 o'clock, so we know we're gonna get some type of excitement. So not worried about it. Not worried about it at all. Because the cool thing is, like, if I'm insanely bullish, let's say this creates a fair value gap, the next fair value gap it creates, we have this candle right here with this wick. I would look at that wick, okay, split in half, okay, where is it? And then I would look if this can create a fair value gap. I would like this to create a fair value gap. Then I look on this time frame and see what is overlapping, and if it overlaps and makes sense after 10 o'clock, then I take the trade. So again, this could all be running it up into a premium just to sell it off. It could be that as well. Right now, again, if we go to SMT chart, this went up higher, so we have even more SMT now. And so we have this SMT here and this one. Same thing with here. This just looks really, really weak. Dow, again, is chilling, doing whatever it wants. But yeah, so that's technically what I'm looking for. So if we fail and can't even get above here, and this ends up being a stop run up into this gap, this balanced price range, and that isn't. But again, I'm looking for higher prices. That's honestly what I want to see. So I'm gonna look to see if that scenario can set up. Now I thought that we were gonna, also kind of trade up into the new day opening gap. Let me just kind of put that up there as well, just so we know where that is. And usually I have it in a darker blue kind of color. So that to me is the new day opening gap low. Let's just label it. When I'm looking for specific things to happen in price, I gotta put that below, or maybe at the middle. I want to see I want to see price react at certain levels, right? Because yesterday, again, I ended up taking a loss, but it was because I was seeing price start reacting at different at premium arrays, which means that there are arrays that are above price, and so when price was trading up into it, it was disrespecting all discount arrays. So that's what made me take the other trade. Right now we have this fair value gap here. Again, could be taking this trade, and but again, it's the time element. I have to wait till 10 o'clock. I can't take that trade. I can't take that trade. I would honestly expect that trade to fail. It may not, but I expect it to fail. Because right now we're getting close to now. ES is kind of catching up right now. So, and as long as ES has room, and I think that this is where we're drawing towards, this gives me an idea. Okay, so we can draw towards this, but ultimately this buy side liquidity all the way up there. As long as I have 50 handles to go, I'm good. So pretty much, if the trade happens anywhere inside of here, there's no trade for me. I can't take it. Cannot take it. Would be even better would be if we leave this gap actually open, trade above here, close above here, at least on a 5-minute chart, and maybe there's some type of breaker setup or something on here after 10 o'clock. Then I can try to look to see if we can take out this buy side, and that would be the trade setup for today. That's what I would do. Because again, I want to see where we have 40 seconds. So then again, here's a fair value gap on the 5-minute time frame. So again, we have this order block. So again, let me just do this real quick. Interval below. So again, where would I expect price? Since there's really no fair value gap or anything down in here, if this is going to give me a reaction where I really like it, I personally would like it to stay up in here. up in this portion. But if it does come down, this order block right here, I'm just going to note the opening price, but this order block has to hold. And so because there is no real breaker setup here for me, I mean, I could use this candle, but there's no fair value gap. So this candle here, if it comes down, I would expect a reaction from, and then if it like has like it like creates a high, a low, a higher high after, and then trades down into like a fair value gap, then I would take it going higher. Again, it's all about having the same process, and we may not even trade down to here, which would be even better because that would let me know that this is a lot stronger than what I'm even anticipating. This is a 1 minute chart. I don't have that one. There we go. So I'm only going to take it on the 1 minute chart. I've had times where I ended up taking it on a 5 second chart, and that didn't go very well. So keep it on that same time frame. Again, this wick right here. See how the middle of it is pretty much right there. So if this can hold off price there, that's even letting me know that it's more bullish and can't even trade down into the lower portion. So that is what I am waiting for. I believe we're going to go higher. I believe that we're going to attack this up here. So I'm not, again, I wasn't really looking for sell side. I labeled it just so we know where it's at. Oops. But I'm not looking for this to go lower. I'm looking for it to go higher, as I kind of explained with the higher time frame charts. I would have loved for this to come up, come down, take a trade, and be done. That's something that I would love to do. This would be a very, very short stream and then get on with the rest of my day. But again, rules are rules, and I have to follow them if I want to be consistent and stay in this long term. Let me just check to make sure they didn't, again, add anything or change the time or something. Nope, everything is still 5:10 p.m. Trump speaks. But yeah, so I'm looking for higher prices. So hopefully we can get something, around 10 o'clock, some type of bullish movement and things going together. But we may not. Does anyone have any other questions? Yep. So again, if this can stay open, create a nice fair value gap. I mean, I do kind of want to see it come down. I'm not going to lie, just a little bit. Because it, creating a gap up here, again, it could go a lot higher than what I am anticipating. Could be a really clean, we'll say efficient delivery. It could go like way beyond this buy side, which is possible. And it could attack, you know, it's already closed it in, that buy side. We do have this fair value gap up there. So let's note that as well on an hourly chart. Not buy side, but I meant fair value gap, which is there. Just change the color. Let's do this red color. So we'll see. I don't necessarily want to be getting up there right now, but it can. It's allowed to. Again, we do still have SMT here. Wasn't able to get above this high, but also not able to, I don't think it got up above this high either. Nope, that's a little bit short. We also have Dow kind of trading lower. S&P was unable to do that. We have news coming out in about 9 minutes. So just gotta be patient. Right now the bodies are kind of being held in the January 17th, Friday, January 17th, first presented fair value gap. That's kind of where this fair value gap has kind of formed, so we're kind of holding also inside of that. Again, I would like to see us kind of trade a little bit lower, create a high, and then see if we can attack this buy side. As long as we have 50 handles, I'm willing to take the trade. If we don't have that where I think that it can go, yes, and this is a potential area where it could go as well. This is stronger, so if I can, get a trade that can get 50 handles before here, that's what I prefer. But that's also, another level that it could reach to. That's right above here, and you have this high as well. So that is a possibility. But we'll see what the structure and what it looks like when we get it. Let's see about also it's neat that the new week opening gap, the present new week opening gap high is pretty much right where this cursor is. So again, I think that's where it's going to draw, but need to find see if we can get into a trade that makes logical sense, and we're not just buying just because we think it's going to go up higher, right? That's the quickest way to blow your account or not be consistent. So again, now I think ES is now starting to get on board. It's coming very close. So now the SMT that we have there initially is not there. And again, looking for higher prices, but just hope it doesn't, just pretty much run away. But if it does, that's just what kind of happened. So we see that there. I'm just going to I'm going to leave this out here just so we know when it crosses. So I'm going to put a little alert there so we know when it crosses. But yes, pretty much up there. So again, looking for higher prices. We were looking for the new day opening gap to get drawn to. We were able to see a level where it would respond from. But again, understanding where my trade setup is, what I like to wait for. We may actually not even get it coming back down here. Like I said, it kind of shows that it's more bullish. The fact that it does not come back down there, and it just may be a day where it just kind of just starts screaming higher and higher and higher and higher, and there's no real retracements. So again, we created, well, we may have created fair value gap here, not yet. Okay, so ES traded above its respective high. So now there's no longer SMT there. So that has been respected. There's nothing there. So again, we had the lower time frame SMT. So again, we're expecting higher prices. And 10 o'clock, it may just end up just ripping without us. And that's fine as well. There will be other trades, other days. But nice trade setup from, not trade setup, but just being able to see it run pretty much 139 handles, and then how deep did it go against us from where we could look, about 10.5 handles. So it's pretty nice. Even though I wasn't able to be in it, still pretty nice being able to see those types of moves. But yeah, I believe we go a little bit higher. And it'd be nice to see us, trade above that, this fair value gap right here, and close above it. Then we could look for the upper portion, which is literally in alignment with this fair value gap. Could potentially be looking at that as an area of support for us to trade up there. But again, doesn't give us that much range. It gives us a little something. And then honestly, see if it can go up higher. 127 handles, so that's enough range to there. So we'll kind of see what the frame, like what it looks like. I'd rather it not hit this before 10 o'clock. I'd rather see it leave it, but who knows what we'll get. We could just run straight to it beforehand, and that would just be what it is. Let's do this so we can kind of see what's over here. Actually, no, that's bad. Can't see. 50-minute chart, you can see. This is a 1 hour. Discount for value gap up there. So we'll see what we get. Oh yeah, this buy side has already been hit. I like to put that to gray. Looks like we'll trade up to there at 10 o'clock pretty much, or maybe even before. Looks like we'll just kind of run through it. If that's the case, then we kind of have to adjust what we're looking for. But again, looking for higher prices. So, and again, if we are looking for higher prices, again, would like to see it trade down lower first, and then offer a setup higher. I think we've hit the. Let me just look. Yeah, so we traded up to the new day opening gap, the contour encroachment, and the bodies have pretty much formed right there and stopped. So that is something interesting. But I just need to see and make sure where is this gap also formed. Okay. Okay, so it's 10 o'clock now. We may just, run up to this buy side, and it just may not be a opportunity for us. So, oh, there we go. So the buy side was taken. Yeah, we gotta kind of wait and see what's gonna present itself, because now this has been taken. So I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. Gonna fix the screenshot there. So now we just gotta wait and kind of see what's gonna be setting up. Again, still thinking that it could potentially draw up higher, drop into here, but there has to be some type of framework or setup for me to get into the trade. Not just gonna buy it just because I would like to see it go up there and buy it, because yeah, it's just gone up higher. So yeah, we'll see what we get. Again, truly bullish. Or not truly bullish, but like stronger. Let me take this one, because this one I have to keep doing that thing. This, we'd want to see this hold price. Also overlaps with the new day opening gap high, or sorry, new week opening gap high from this week. This order block pretty much overlaps with it, so would expect to see that trade higher. But we've done a lot. I would have liked it better if we didn't, kind of already run up there. That was like kind of like my target. What I'd be looking for, what I'd be expecting. But yeah, it's, that's just what today was. I think we were already above that now. Yeah, straight above that. We're way above that, and we're straight above here. So technically, like, there's now SMT here, right? We're just, that is significantly farther away there, whereas this had kind of traded all the way up there. So that's something to note, and I think is significant. But also, again, I do think that we're going to go higher. I just think that ES is going to have to catch up. But right now in this, like, I don't see a buy scenario right now for me. There's nothing there. But yeah, I would say it was fairly a low resistant day. I wouldn't say it was pretty choppy. It kind of was able to expand and move. Doesn't look like anything like yesterday. Kind of looked, this looks very clean. It's moving. So that is what a low resistant conditions look like. Not a lot of overlapping. Fair value gaps left open. We did have this one though. Kind of get traded a little bit down, but this one was left open. So you kind of expect it to start spooling and trading higher. So I'd love to see if we can actually trade down here into this gap after this closes. If we can trade down, I would actually like to see that, and to see if we can get another run up above here with ES kind of following along in suit. And then if we can create a breaker or something over here to attack this high, but potentially maybe get up into here, I would elect to take that trade. Even the previous weeks, even this volume imbalance there, again, looking for higher prices. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to look for that. it just may be one of those days where it just runs, and can't do nothing about that. About 9 minutes left until the next like 15-minute candle closes and then opens. But again, yeah, if we were to I'd actually prefer this to be left open, and this, if we create a fair value gap here, I'd actually like to see if we can trade down, because let me see if that would give us anything. So that'll give us some range. If we trade down here, use this order block, and then start creating fair value gaps up, and seeing that, but again, we may not get that. It may just literally start running. I don't know. It's looking pretty strong right now. Able to call the direction, which is nice. So that's a key takeaway from today for me. Even though I wasn't able to get a trade set up, at least as of right now, that's a key thing for me, being able to see where it can occur and kind of know the levels, because I think that's very important. I used to just kind of just guess. Now I kind of have a system and of how I do things. Yeah, let's see if we can use this 5 minutes, if it can close. I just want to take some of this stuff off my chart. Let's see if we can use this 5 minute. Fair value gap here. That's now got some key interest for me. Can do that, create a fair value gap, and kind of create a breaker here. But I mean, it's just, yeah, we're very high up, but I do think that we can get something there. If it can trade down and offer a clean setup for me, I would take it. Again, if this is the case, what would I be looking for? This candle, as long as we can hold it, to hold up. So put this in front, as long as it doesn't just, you know, keep running higher, which it looks like it's doing. Yeah, just no real retracement right now. No real active retracement that you can take a trade off, like at least a tradable trade for me. Again, thought that this order block should hold price. It couldn't even trade down to the opening price. Again, it's showing strength, but since then we have traded up 50 handles. So, but just nothing for me yet. Just might be one of those days. Just can't get on board. So if we look at the 950 to 1010 macro, we've pretty much like one side has just kind of expanded. Again, this breaker here, high, low, higher, high, body's where it's at, enter. But again, it's just, there's just rule elements. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to get a trade today. Just the way that it's trading and what it's looking like, it's just expanding, leaving gaps, not really, you know, allowing for, doesn't really have retracements that fit for me. There are retracements, just not that fit for me. because it's just expanding. Because yeah, I think ES looks like it's trying to catch up right now, and so yeah, we may just we can leave them on right now, but yeah, nothing really that I can do about that with it all the way up there, you know. Nothing there for me. And that was the next level that we were drawing for, and you know, I couldn't really frame a setup for me. Sometimes that happens. Again, we always look for the same thing the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. So I mean, pretty much for me, if it kind of hits up there, I don't really know what else I'd be looking for. I think then I would be trying to press myself to get into a trade, to take a trade. I mean, I understand that, you know, up here and then the wick, and then it could come to this one, and ultimately this is the high, but then I feel like I just keep pushing it up, even though I ultimately think it's going to come up above here. I think that's where we're drawing this week. I mean, hopefully I can get a trade set up, but, you know, if not, then I don't get one. But yeah, if we can't, if we pretty much hit that fair value gap, I'll just be done, and then I'll again look for a trade tomorrow. I may look at the PM session. I'm not going to be streaming that, but I may look at the PM session to see if we retrace back and then give any kind of clean setup inside of that. I will look for that at like 1:30 or so. I'll see if that's there. Something setting up that I like. I'll look to trade that, but I pretty much think we're going to hit this discount end and not really give a setup right now. This might be the first real retracement I had all day. Nope. What time is it? 10:12. Again, I think that's kind of like a little fake out. Get people to think that the high has been in place just to run it out right above that discount fair value gap on the hourly. But yeah, I would have loved to see it kind of not do all of that yet. So again, this will now be a breakaway gap. This is also looking like a breakaway gap. Doesn't look like we can trade to that either. So that is no longer relevant. So like to see if we can get a retracement down to here. Use this, create a little breaker scenario, and come up to there. But if it gets hit first, then I'm not interested actually. I'll either trade later on in the day, or I'll just wait until tomorrow morning. We'll see if we have anything, and then if not, then the next trade I'll be looking at will be Thursday or Friday. And if nothing, then the only trade I would have taken would have been Monday. We have 10 seconds until we have a potential another breakaway gap. But again, even if it comes down here, trades down in here or leaves it open and then creates a fair value gap above here into this hourly. I don't like how close it is to where I would be targeting. It's just hard for me to get up there. There's just no retracement. I mean, pretty much you could have bought every fair value gap on a lower time frame and it would have worked out, but that's not my setup or framework. Like literally every fair value gap, buy it. It would have worked. Like, yeah, no, I mean, none of the fair value gaps on the 5-minute chart got traded to, not one of them. This is a low, these are days you want to be in when you're trading, and this is the days that you can hold for, you know, higher prices. But yeah, just today there was just no retracements, just straight up. Again, right now it's trading down into a 5-minute fair value gap. You have this order block there. Let me just get rid of that. You do have this here. So again, that gap, you want to see it hold, trade down, create a fair value gap above this high or even above this one. That gives a clear indication. Let's go higher, but I'm not going to buy it going into a higher time frame array like that. Look at where we're on the daily, above here, almost to trading into that. Yeah. Again, now I'd like it if we trade that back down into this one, only because this is the new day opening gap. This would be the upper portion of the new day opening gap, and then if we could show some movement away, that makes sense, but yeah, I don't think that that's what we're gonna get here. Again, I think like you're just literally buying every fair value gap. Works. Again, why would I want this one? Why would I wait for this one specifically? It's because where it's located inside of this 5-minute one. So yeah, just buying every single one would have worked today. You could have bought down here, bought off this one, bought off this one, and taken up to there. Bought down here, breakaway gap. So it happens. Yeah, it's almost 10:30 pretty much. You know, if I don't get anything before then, I'll look for the PM session to see if it offers anything, but we're able to call direction and call where it could go. And yep, there we go, boom, hit that. So let's take a picture of that as well. So we hit the hourly discount. This fair value gap was held. You could kind of already see that that was going to happen. There's just no breaker set up there, and I don't even know if it offered 50. I'd have to trade up to there. Just a potential. I think it can. But again, I would have liked it better if it gave that opportunity way before then. Like, that was the only real retracement at that point. And see how it kind of hit that up there, and kind of has showed a little bit of rejection of the after trading into the hourly discount fair value gap. So just for me, I'm not really interested in the morning right now, or the rest of the morning. I didn't get a setup. So yep, that's about it, right? We talked about this being a breaker, a potential breaker setup over there before it even happened. But yep, before the time element, so was not able to get into this. Again, another one occurred here, but again, we just kept trading higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, and didn't really offer any pullbacks for me to really get into, or that had a trade setup that would look familiar to like all the other trades that I take on this channel, but also the trades that are in my trading plan. I just would have been buying just because I had a higher understanding that I was going to trade higher and higher and higher. So that's just not something that I want to promote in my trading, because that has always left me being not able to be consistent and find trade setups. So I'll be back tomorrow at 9:10 around the same time. And I appreciate everyone that was here. I appreciate everyone that stopped in. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.